Good afternoon. Welcome to Good Guy Sports. I'm Jackson Gerke, alongside with Mike Roby, the two Blakes as usual, and our special guest joining us in just a few minutes. And 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 this week I am joining you live from a NBC Sports studio somewhere in somewhere in America, as we got Blake Gerke joining us. That's where I'm working at this week. Somewhere in the continental United States, and yeah, so we're gonna get right to it and talk about some topics right now. So we are going to start us off with some we're going to kick us off and start off with the Masters tournament. As we all know, J John Rahm becomes the fourth golfer from Spain to slip on the green jacket. And then joining the names of Steve Bauer Torres and Joe Maria Alzatuba, who are both champions, and the most recent one would that would be Sergio Garcia back in 2017 when he was the last Spaniard when he was the last European player to wear the green jacket. And he and he and Ron becomes the first player to both win the U.S. Open and the Masters in the same single season, and that's what Ron's legacy has become as a professional golfer in his career. So, Mike, I want to start with you. I I know that you were at, I know that we all watched the Masters. What everybody in America did, especially on Masters Sunday. But it happened to be, it happened to be on the same day where where it was also Easter Sunday, where uh, um where I was glued into TV all week during that week. It but they don't, except for that one day where it did fell on the holiday of Easter, where everybody was selling their families and buying Easter eggs and having an Easter egg hunt, doing like Easter crafts and and all of that. So, Mike, I want to start with you. Did you watch any of the final round of the Masters, or were you hanging out with your family doing Easter crafts and activities with your grandkids? What did you guys end up doing? Everybody in the audience wants to know.
Yeah.
What did you guys do?
We went down to Fredericksburg to visit my mom and dad. My daughter was in town from Chattanooga, Tennessee. She's a nurse in an emergency room, and it was great to see her. And so we just hung out with family, and unfortunately I did not get to see uh any of the rounds or the makeup for the previous day.
Oh, bummer. Well, at least you at least I got you caught up for what happened recently, so that I could just get you just to what's at stake, to what's for what from any Masters recap that I got for you. So yeah, John Rahm as a who just won the green jacket recently, and just I was actually and like you said, I did watch most of it. I did watch most of the coverage. So I was watching all their coverage, which I was like flipping between CBS and Golf Channel for pretty much all week for any of their golf coverage, and was listening to one of their analysts and discussing what their topics are. And but yeah ending the final round, Brooks Koepka had like a free shot lead or something, but that something like that. But then all of a sudden things just got out of hand, and I think that's what made the difference of John
He
Rahm.
choked.
Well, I mean, yeah, he choked. Yeah,
Is that what you're saying?
exactly. He choked. Yeah, yes, that's exactly right. He choked in the in the in the I want to say at the fifth hole where I want to say his opening tee shot just the ball just went off the fairway a bit, but then but then but then like you said, just he choked at like at at the fifth hole, and that's how things got a bit interesting, and and um and that's how Rom just came back from behind, taking a one shot lead and then adding more. But then since then, just Brooks Koepka just was unable to get a birdie in the final round. That's what made the difference in this golf tournament is just Rom just outplaying and the rest of the way down the rest of the way in this tournament, and that's how he determined won the thing. So that's why he become master champion and wearing the green jacket. Now,
Were you surprised of how well Mickelson played?
I not really. I mean, it was a bit. I mean, he had a great final round, but he just couldn't he just didn't have enough. But no, I wasn't surprised. But he did have a great Sunday final round, but not the way not the way that I wanted to have finished as expected. But but no, he had a great final round. Just couldn't get more executed. Just couldn't get more of the shots in that he expected. But for to try to get more competitive for as closer as it gets. But yeah, he did all he could. But it wasn't that bad for a finish for his for his first major of the career for Mickelson. But but you're right. It wasn't a bad start for Mickelson on how the way things turned out for him. But he had a great round, and I give him a lot of respect, despite that he's a live player. But he still found a way to get it done, even though he didn't have a great round. But yeah, I mean,
What's the next major tournament for golf?
um, I believe it'll be May 12th for the 21st over at the PGA Championship up in Rochester, I believe. That's where it's going to be taking place next week. But yeah, that's where it's going to be taking place for the next event to come up. But then it's followed by the U.S. Open at LA Country Club. Then you got the Open Championship in July at Royal Liverpool, which is the last major of the year, like it always is. And that's how things ran out this year for the majors in golf. But yeah, so we had so yeah, but yeah, early but also to recap that early this morning, Tiger Woods had withdrawn from a broken leg in the final round. That's why he did that for the first time in his career at the Masters, and he couldn't finish the Sunday final round, and that's how he just withdrawn. But then like you said about Mickelson, he had a great career and a great finish for what he all he could do. But yeah, great. But yeah, a great way to recap the Masters, and yeah, there's there yeah, and it's really a great way to put this Masters tournament for this 87 Masters tournament in the books. And now we just turn our page, like I said, and move on to the next golf major, which is the PGA Championship in mid-May.
I was watching when the trees fell down.
Oh yeah, yeah. My dad
That
actually
was
saw
the
that
highlight of the
too.
whole weekend.
Yeah, I saw that,
There's some big
that had to
trees.
be that had to be some like that had to be scary to watch for like if they were like some like patrons nearby it or behind it. Well, luckily they weren't luckily there were no injuries involved, so they were thankful that that they weren't in the area. That would have been a close call if that were to if that ever were to happen. But um but yeah, thank goodness that they were not that they weren't any fans involved. But luckily, just they just 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 try to rent out the area and just uh just had to take precautions for safety.
Well, we got to give a shout out to your mom for winning the pool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's do
Yeah.
it. My
All
mom
right.
is yes, my mom is a defending champion, and yeah, yes,
Woohoo!
she really gave us a lot of credit,
Congratulations,
and I
Kendra.
Congratulations, Kendra.
Do I get any? I get some credit for picking having John Rahm, but not full credit because the rest of my picks were stinky. So, but yeah, she picked
It's
a
sort of
good.
like my Nationals roster.
Well, yeah, some are saying. Some are saying. I guess that's the key to a good. If you're picking multiple players, you got to be consistent from top to bottom.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's like I had I have a full roster, but like with like one Juan Soto, and then the rest of my roster was crap. Basically, is the analogy there. So yeah, congrats to Kendra.
Yeah, she deserves it, and you finished in the runs. Well, that's not a bad that's not a bad finish for you, even though you won in that level. So, but at least you finished the top three. That's all what really matters.
Absolutely. What else we got today, Jack?
All right, so let's move on now to some other topics in the sports world. We're going to be talking about some baseball updates, soccer, and
Playoffs as well.
in college. Well, too early for that, but we're going to be talking about some baseball, and we're talking about some playoffs for the NBA and NHL in a minute. But we'll get to college baseball a little later. But
So the
right
Rays
now
just
we
went
are.
13-0 today.
Big
I
story.
know, I know. The big topic. Yes, that's our big topic that we're going to get to. Yeah, the Rays. The Rays are tied with the Brewers, Braves, for a 13-0 combined record. I mean, that's what my mom told me, and that's where they're stand right now. So, but yeah, the Rays in that division feel like they can't feel like those teams in the AL East just can't seem to catch everybody else. But yeah, the Rays just look too good, and they just they draft very well, and they pitch very well, and they're dominant on both sides, and the plays they make are the plays they make that you aren't to expect, but they will that they will come after you, and that's what just made the race make the race too good this season. I mean, I don't know if they're ever going to lose a game this season, but it means a long season. But
One
I don't
162
know.
and
I
0.
don't know if I see them losing a game anytime soon.
You think they're gonna go 162 and 0?
I mean, the Dodgers went 110 last season, but
Yeah, and look what
Did
happened
they
to
really?
them.
yeah,
Yeah, doesn't always didn't the Mariners in 2001 set the record for most wins and they got bounced by the Yankees. So it's not always the best sign of success, but I think what you were saying was true, Jack, about the Rays being for the size of the stadium and the amount of fans they have, it's pretty remarkable how well run they are in terms of drafting and development and finding players under the margins, you know. They have to compete with some pretty big hitters in their division in terms of Boston and New York, but they always seem to find these under the radar guys. Hey, credit to the AAA Durham Bulls as well. It's a bit of a pipeline over here for that talent development in Tampa. It's pretty remarkable how they keep doing it year after year.
You look at their the box score, and 5 or 6 of their starting lineup are batting well over 300. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's the thing is you wouldn't necessarily say they have one star. You could point out a Rosarena, I suppose, as their marquee player. But like you said, consistent roster that hits for a high average and gets on base. So obviously they've development scouting is targeting those kinds of players, right?
yeah.
So
Kudos to their analytics department.
they'll be hired by the Red Sox in a few years. Like I'm pretty sure the guy that's what the guy for the Red Sox right now was from Tampa.
Yeah.
But I don't think they like him very much. They're not doing that well, so we'll see.
Yeah, the Red Sox Nation is not very happy right now.
Yeah.
they're yeah, yeah. The Red Sox are Yeah, the Red Sox are in last place, like the Nationals are, and I don't know if I see any
We're
confidence
only a
in
half a
fans up
game
in
out.
Daytown.
What about forget about the Rays? What the team with the best record in the National League? Anybody know who that is?
Mm.
I have to look it up. I'd be afraid to say the Braves.
If you looked it up, that would be the answer you would find, Uncle Mike. 9-4 start, just coming off a 3-game sweep of the Cincinnati Reds.
Yeah,
Swept
well,
the Cardinals as well, I think.
yeah.
Got beat up by the Padres, but that's okay. 9-4
Eh,
start. I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. I will say I don't know if I trust the pitching is a bit patchwork right now, to be honest. They're kind of been a bit of a stable in and out in terms of the arms, but I think similar to what the Rays, we got a lot of different guys that are hitting well. Olson's hitting the cover off the ball. Acuna's
yeah.
back to his potential MVP like form to start this season. So I'm liking, I think in terms of a 1 through 5.
Yeah, the last time I was at Nationals Park, we were playing the Braves, and we got the curly W. So that's all. That's all I
Still
can say.
holding on to that.
I'm still holding on to that.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
At least your Braves bullpen's not like the Phillies.
Yeah.
The Phillies bullpen is imploding.
Yeah, it's true.
I've crying crocodile tears.
All right, so before we get our next guest or co-host, who Blake Lumber, that is, if they're ever going to come on, well, let's hope they do. But in the meantime, right now, let's get right to what the latest around the world of the NHL playoffs and the NBA right now. But before I do that, I want to get your take on. I wanted to get Uncle Mike's take on this source that I read on ESPN saying that there is a deal from Josh Harris, executive deals to buy the Commanders, who's the owner of who I think is the owner of the 76ers and the Denver Broncos and um and for the New Jersey Devils, and owned by the Harris Sports Blitz and Entertainment, which and also billionaire Magic Johnson, who's part of Harris's group, for over 555 billion. And according to Forbes, that story is breaking on ESPN. Mike, you were up in the ground there, and if you heard any rumors about this, what is the latest? And tell me anything that you know as of right now.
Well, just what I'm hearing on ESPN, I think it's a great thing. It's really going to help the city. Having Magic Johnson as part of the ownership team is going to be great. I hope it does go through. I mean, Daniel Snyder's certainly going to make the money. He paid 800 million for the team, and
6 billion.
6.05 billion.
Wow,
That's quite a profit.
that's a pretty penny right there, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, uh, he should get out while he can, because the owners will end up forcing him out. But I think it's good. I do hope it goes through. I'd love to see them then start building a new stadium in DC.
Do
Yeah,
we know anything about
I keep
this?
hearing that all the time.
About Josh Harris? Do we know like what his background is? He's just like a finance sort of guy, capital.
I don't know
I
much.
think he's a billionaire.
He just has a lot of money.
Safe to, I would assume that. Yeah, he's probably just a hedge fund guy that gets a big group together. That seems to be the usual
Yeah.
usual MO of these things, similar to
Mhm.
but yeah, no, I think any owner that's not Daniel Snyder for Washington, D.C. football fans is considered a victory. So
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on now and get some get the very latest on for the playoffs for the NHL starts on Monday, but right now we're going to be talking about some soccer updates with Blake, which I love doing. So just until we get another guest on or other co-host on, if we do, we'll probably won't, but you never know. But right now, let's get right to it. And I want to know if there's any soccer updates we should know about, if any. Obviously, we're still into the quarterfinals, and right now we're in the thing called the Europa League, and obviously we want to ask Blake about this. And
yeah, I give you a quick Champions League rundown. The games
sure,
yesterday and Tuesday. Yesterday, Real Madrid beat Chelsea 2-0 in the first leg. So that will be tough to overturn. I think Madrid will go through to the semis. Similarly, Manchester City beat Bayern Munich 3-0 in their first leg. Tough to come back from that for the second leg. So I would imagine Man City will go through to face Real Madrid in the semifinals. And then on the other side of the bracket, AC Milan beat Napoli 1-0. That and then the second game I think is still open. I think Napoli will be at home for that one. They have a good home field advantage, so I wouldn't rule that out. That could be a coin flip. And then Inter Milan beat Benfica 2-0 in the first leg of the other quarterfinal. I would expect them to go through because that was the away, so they'll be at home for the second game. So I would expect Inter Milan to go through on that one. So I would expect Manchester City, Real Madrid, Inter Milan, and either AC Milan or Napoli. It depends. Napoli were missing their starting striker, so if he's back for the second leg of that, give him a chance. But I think Milan might actually go through there, so you might get AC Milan versus Inter Milan in the Champions League semifinals, kind of like when the Jets and Giants play or something like that. Teams from the same city. But right now, if you told me to pick a favorite for the Champions League, I would pick Manchester City. I think Erling Haaland is scoring a lot of goals. I think they are playing the best soccer right now. So if you're gonna bet on it, I'd bet Man City.
yeah. I wouldn't count that team out, especially of how late they're playing. Yeah, Michigan City just has a good group of guys and a great squad, and yeah, I would never yeah, if I were in a soccer championship game, I would never play against them. That team looks too good, and they're just they play well on both sides, and yeah, I would never rule out this team out, especially when they're playing especially of how well they're playing the slate. Yeah, this team is just good on both sides, and very good goalkeepers and great scorers, and yeah, I wouldn't want to play against this team.
Totally agree. When we talk some NBA slash NHL playoffs now that they're getting into gear,
Sure, let's get to it.
that time of year.
Great time of year. Especially when you're like games are on the line and knowing what you
Win or go home.
never win or
Games
go,
are on the
yes, win or
line.
go home.
Who's gonna step up?
Who's gonna step it up and
Oh, you just want to talk because the Hurricanes are in.
Except for if you're in Washington, D.C., because they don't have any playoff teams. I
yeah.
kid, I kid.
Well, of course, because they got their great great Alex Ovechkin, but like Blake said, they just they're nowhere even near for a playoff spot. But now just things have gone down south ever since the last playoff appearance. But yeah, but yeah, since then it's not been great. It's not been a great time to be a DC sports fan, especially where Uncle Mike is, except for the Defenders, where there is going to be hope for the playoffs because that team
You're
is
saying
so
Washington
good.
DC is counting on the XFL to save their sports season right now?
Why
Yeah, I
not?
mean
It's gotten
that's what I'm
desperate.
saying.
Yeah, no, I think I'm excited for the Hurricanes playoff run. They've been knocking on the door for the past couple of years now. But there is a little team called the Boston Bruins in their way that are historically good this year. So we'll see. I think last regular season game, I think are wrapping up today and tomorrow maybe. Looks like Carolina could be matching up with Florida in the first round of the playoffs. I was thinking about the NHL playoffs compared to the NBA is the you get a lot more first and second round upsets. Like if you think the winner of the Miami Chicago NBA playing game has any chance against the Bucks, like you're crazy. But you can definitely make an argument for hockey upsets in the first round. I mean, it wouldn't be crazy if Florida beat Carolina. I don't think it's going to happen. I think Carolina and Boston are probably the two best teams in the NHL, definitely in the Eastern Conference, maybe in the whole league right now. So I would expect them to at least make it past the first round, possibly matching up in the ECF. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see who makes it out of the West as well. For the NHL, I know Edmonton are always in the picture with their big points grabber McDavid. So yeah, we'll see. It'll be a fun. I'm looking forward to the NHL playoffs, Jack.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. You don't know what to expect, but there's always going to be something to involve of what's really going to happen. But you just never know. But it's just
You can't count Tampa out, can you? They're
oh, you really
always
can. I mean, they've been good. They've been good at
they never die.
yeah, they never no never absolutely
Eh,
not. But
They
but
never
you're
die or go to baseball games.
Exactly. Yeah.
that's just the way it goes. But yeah, never rule out the Lightning or maybe the Hurricanes, like you said. But yeah, we all know the Bruins have the great have the most points combined in the entire season. But like you said, you would never rule out the you would never rule out the Lightning or the Hurricanes or even the Maple Leafs or any other team in the Eastern Conference, maybe the Penguins. But yeah, everything's up for
Penguins
grabs
are
in
out.
the NHL. But that's what makes this during in the Stanley Cup playoffs. That's what makes it exciting. And yeah, you you just don't know what's going to happen until the puck drops. That's just what that's the beauty of it, and that's what it's that's what it always should be. Depending on how things goes during the rest of this postseason.
So should we?
But
You
you're
guys
right.
want to give?
But you're right. It should be very fun to watch either way.
You guys want to give predictions or Stanley Cup matchups before the playoffs start now?
Yeah.
We can change it once, after a
Right.
week or two,
Right.
but just before the, pre playoffs, because I did pick John Rahm to win, so my track record for predictions is pretty hot right now. So I'm going with Carolina, obviously, because I have to back the hometown team versus Edmonton in the Western Conference.
Okay.
Jack, who do you like?
Let's see. I think I like the Bruins and let's see. I want to go with the Vegas Golden Knights for my Western Conference final.
That's a good pick. It's a strong matchup there.
Yeah, that's
Imagine all those Boston people rolling up to Vegas causing trouble.
I don't know.
That's
Yeah,
trouble right there.
right. I mean,
This
the
Vegas
stadium
is
and just taking
casinos
over,
are wicked.
taking over, taking over the city and casinos and over on the strip there. I don't know how those Boston fans are going to react if that were to happen, but yeah, should be interesting depending on what really happens in this postseason.
Who you liking,
Alright.
Uncle Mike?
Well,
You
I
have
mean,
favorite?
Boston's probably going to be the favorite, but
But you don't pick favorites, do you?
no, I don't
We're
pick
talking to the man who
favorites.
picked the Miami Hurricanes to make the Final Four. This guy
There
does
you
not
go.
pick favorites.
No, you know, you want to win, you got to put it out there.
Mm-hmm.
So I will go with the New Jersey Devils
Interesting. Okay.
and the Dallas Stars.
Ooh,
Ooh,
okay. All right, mark it
okay,
down, people.
I
Come back to
like it.
this. Come back to this in a month or two, whenever the Stanley Cup start, and we can see if any of us got any of these predictions right.
Well,
I like
Yeah.
that. Devils Stars.
the
Interesting.
Devils Stars, yeah.
We got ourselves, we got ourselves picking ourselves different teams of our gut feels for who we're going against. We got different we're different opposites and yeah, it should be interesting to see how this really turns out between now and then.
Well,
Should be exciting.
The Stars are on a 5-game winning streak. And you know, I don't know why I picked the Devils, but somebody had to.
Yeah, yeah.
Representing New Jersey.
You're one of
They're the
them.
only they're the only team in New Jersey still, right? So
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
that
I
and
that's
that,
my Bruce Springsteen pick. I had
yeah,
to pick
the
the Devils
boss.
for the boss.
yeah,
I
that
like
and
it.
the Nets, who used to be there a long time ago now in Brooklyn. So
I think all of the both the New York and the New Jersey Devils are in the playoffs. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting fact.
And the Capitals will sit at home
yeah,
It's
and yeah,
with Alex at 822 goals.
that's how many
Yeah,
is it points or goals?
he's got 72 more goals to tie the great one.
Oh yeah, he'll definitely get that next year.
Yeah.
he's got until like a few years for that to happen.
Yeah.
That's just what I'm hearing from many of my sources that I'm talking
Yeah.
with. But, that's where it needs to be if he wants to get that far. But
That's our consolation prize here in DC.
Fair enough.
yeah, yeah. It'll be here before we know. It's just gotta take time, but yeah, it'll be there.
Yeah. So Blake, you going to get the playoff tickets?
You know a guy?
How do I know a guy?
Yeah, I might take a look. Definitely not going to be cheap, are they? But it can go to some
Yeah.
tailgates and stuff. I live close to the stadium, so
Well, that's
I
cool.
check out all kinds of festivities. They have
Yeah.
a little banner
Yeah.
just by the stadium getting ready for the playoffs. So yeah, I mean I'm there. Hurricanes are huge here, man. It's similar to think about big place like Raleigh. Obviously, there's a lot of college sports, but it's the
Mhm.
only professional
Yeah.
sports team here. So people are really super invested. So it's gonna be a fun playoff push. Yeah,
That's good. That's good. That's
it's gonna
fun.
be fun. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's talk about now the NBA playoffs. Obviously we had the thing called the NBA play-in, which existed about only a few seasons ago, and so right now we're going to be talking about some NBA action for the play-in tournament. Right now, we got the Bulls and the Heat and the Thunder and Timberwolves happening right now. So, just want to get your guys' take on that and the NBA playoffs began this weekend. Starting off with the Cavaliers and the Knicks, and then the one on I want to say Saturday night or Sunday night. Saturday night we got the Sacramento Kings make the playoffs for the first time. First time in a while. Haven't been back to the playoffs probably in a long time. Taking on the defending champion Golden State Warriors in the first round. That's where I want to begin right now, and we want to get your take on the Bulls and the Heat tonight. We got the 8th seed game for both the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference for tonight, and want to get your takes. I want you guys get your takes on that, and tell me who you like in those matchups.
So I think in terms of the Eastern Conference matchups, I think the best first round one, I think he said is Cleveland, New York. I think the 4-5 there is a pretty fun matchup. Knicks are feisty, good home crowd, MSG. Cleveland's got Donovan Mitchell, who's a fun, exciting scorer. I can see that definitely being a fun 6 or 7 game series. Rest of the series in the East, not as interesting. I don't think Atlanta's going to do much against Boston. Milwaukee's going to crush whoever they play. Philly, Brooklyn, maybe Brooklyn could do something there. I think Philly will advance. Honestly, I think it's Milwaukee, Boston in the East. I think I'll be pretty surprised if that is in the Eastern Conference Finals. I think that will be a good series. It was a good series last year in the second round. I probably would bet on Milwaukee in a close one on that one, but yeah, that could go either way. The West is really interesting. A lot of good teams in the West. Obviously, the Lakers are going to be a tough seven seed. I mean, in terms of 7 seeds, has to be like one of the best 7 seeds of all time with LeBron and Anthony Davis. Memphis is probably surprised, or they're probably cursing out the NBA for how tough of a first round matchup they got as a 2 seed. But Sacramento, Golden State, obviously Northern California matchup. Like you said, Kings back in the playoffs, Golden State defending champs. That's a huge matchup. The 4-5 Phoenix, LA is a huge, Clippers is a huge matchup. KD versus Kawhi in the first round. It's crazy. I think Denver will beat whoever they get, either Minnesota or OKC. They should be fine there. But yeah, so I mean, Denver, LA, Memphis, Sacramento. I mean, you can definitely make an argument for all these teams making the finals. So yeah, the West is definitely the more compelling because you've got a bunch of different teams that could make a run. I don't know. Mike, do you feel the same way?
Yeah, no. I'll go out on a limb and say the West playoff will be the Clippers and the Lakers.
So they could match up. Would they
they could then go across the court to see who's going to be the home team.
Yeah, all the California teams. All the California teams made it
Well,
this
they
year.
both play at the Staples Center.
It's very California centric.
Yeah.
Until I heard this news about Steve Patras opening up a new arena in 2024, and that they're not going to be playing in the same arena than they used to in years past, but now just building in a different part of LA, just for their own arena, and that just it just kind of it just reminds me a bit of when the Knicks and the Nets have their own arena, but it'll be the opposite of that in the West Coast, and I just think it's going to be that sort of feel when that arena opens up in a few years in a few years time, and that's what's going to happen in the next few years from now for this new arena. It's going to be just something that the fans are going to be this like never seen before kind of place, and that's what it's going to look like for the Clippers fan in the future. But
Do you think
they should be.
Do you think they'll pull the Kings out of Staples Center and go to the new arena too?
They might
I
make
mean,
him an offer.
they're in Sacramento, not in the Bay Area, so I don't know
No,
what.
I meant the hockey team.
Oh,
Los Angeles
Los
Kings
Angeles Kings.
of the NHL. Yeah, maybe.
I mean, that's a great question. I mean, you have the Anaheim Ducks just south of there in Orange County.
Oh
So
yeah, why don't they just go play in yeah, when they play in Anaheim, they have all these different arenas.
Yeah.
I
I
guess
forgot about
Anaheim's
the
kind of
Ducks.
far away. Yeah, most people do. Yeah, maybe the Ducks will come play in Steve Ballmer's Clipper Arena.
yeah, yeah.
That'd be
Steve
neat.
Ballmer just has a lot of fan excitement for him and for what he does, and yeah, he gets his fans all fired up and
Yeah.
get himself in like game mode, and he always gets something. He always shares some exciting news for whatever he has to bring to the audience. I mean,
Well, well, he
it
always
does.
got people fired
It's
up
a
when it
person,
was with
and what
Microsoft.
they're there for.
Developers.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't. I don't think the Clippers. They are missing Paul George. I think he's not going to play. So I think Phoenix is going to win that matchup. Unfortunately for Steve, I think they might get
Poor,
uh
poor Steve.
knocked out there. But if we're doing this similarly picking who we think is going to be in the finals, I think I had this pick last week. I'll stick with it. I'm gonna go Milwaukee versus Phoenix. Rematch of the finals from 2 seasons ago is what I'm gonna go with. Giannis versus Kevin Durant. Look it.
Well, I'll have Milwaukee and the 76ers in the Eastern Final, with Milwaukee taking it, but Milwaukee losing to the Lakers in the finals.
Ooh, Milwaukee Lakers. Okay, I like that. I like that. Jack, what are you feeling?
For me, I've got the Milwaukee Bucks and Suns in the finals, just like I have a few seasons ago, and I've got Milwaukee Bucks winning in 6 games.
Interesting.
They're just too good. They got Giannis Antetokounmpo. They've got the Greek Freak. They got Drew Holiday. They got they got too many weapons. They got too many playmakers. That's why I have to. That's why I have to. I'm taking the Milwaukee Bucks, and they're just too good for a reason. I don't know if I ever see them. I don't know if I see them ever losing a series of in the playoffs, but they're just too good, and I mean they're hard to stop, and they're just too good, and they're so dominant about both sides of the floor, and I don't know. I mean, it's gonna be tough, but I just got the Bucks winning it all.
So nobody's picked the Celtics.
I was gonna ask, what do you guys think the odds are? This could be a fun bet to make at your local sports book, where gambling is legal, of course. Odds of Boston and Denver / Colorado making the finals in both the NBA and the NHL. So Celtics versus Nuggets, which is, I mean, a 2 versus a 1 seed, so it's very possible. And then Boston, who's a 1 seed in their division, Bruins versus the Colorado Avalanche, defending Stanley Cup champions. I think they're like a 2 seed in their division. So I think I was looking at the matchup. I think that's the most realistic if you want to bet on city versus city. Probably never happened before, or I'm sure teams have won it in the same year, but having the same matchup in both would be kind of cool. Yeah.
In 1969,
Here we go.
there you had the Baltimore Colts and the New York Jets. The Jets win. In baseball, you had the Baltimore Orioles and the New York Mets, and the Mets won. And in basketball that same year, you had the Baltimore Bullets versus the New York Knicks, and the Knicks won.
Wow. I guess back then they only had like 8 teams, and half of them were in New York, right? So,
well, yeah.
Nah, that's okay. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, Baltimore versus New York, interesting.
Yeah. And so the Orioles are the only team left in Baltimore that was playing.
Yikes.
The
Well,
Colts
yeah.
are in Indianapolis, and
That's funny.
the Baltimore Bullets are now the Washington Wizards.
We can always count on Uncle Mike for an old Baltimore stat, can't we, Jack? Just
Yeah.
just when I thought I was gonna go one
Just-
over on you guys.
Just when you thought it was safe.
Until it wasn't.
Jack, what do you think of that though? Boston versus Denver? Am I crazy here, or could that happen?
I mean, it could, but I wouldn't count out Jokic and those Red Hot Nuggets. I mean,
I
I
like
don't,
my nuggets spicy personally.
yeah, I don't mind if I see that happening. But although it would be hard for most of us in the sports betting desk to take that, but I wouldn't mind it.
Something to think about, That's all
Yeah,
I'm saying.
I think it would be cool.
oh, I think it would be cool and and great for the sport if you ask me.
Yeah.
Well, just know if it happens that I predicted it here.
Well,
first.
it won't be the Red Sox and the Rockies.
That
I'll
is
go out
for
on a limb
sure.
and say that ain't going to happen.
Nope.
Yeah, 0% chance we see that happening. Probably 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 and probably for the foreseeable future or a long time. Yeah, those teams just
Although they did play each other in the 2006 World Series. It's
Yeah.
random
sorry,
baseball knowledge there for you.
2007 World Series to be exact.
Ah, damn it. You got me.
Yeah, I did.
I was close.
Yeah, you were
But
right
no
there.
cigar.
Oh, I got you.
So we gotta have a trivia game on here sometime, huh?
Oh, I would love that.
Since we all have our own little trivia expertise, apparently.
Yeah.
What else you got, Jack?
All right, we're going to talk about some college baseball right now. So right now, we're going to round the top 10 and tell you the rankings for those schools that are listed in inside the top 10. We've got LSU at number 1, Wake Forest number 2, Florida at number 3, Vanderbilt at number 4, Arkansas at 5, South Carolina at 6, Virginia at 7, Stanford at 8, East Carolina at 9, and Louisville is at 10. So we got the top 10 schools for the AP top 10 rankings in college baseball as of right now for their season. So LSU is the number 1 team in the country right now. And then and then as we all know right now, the SEC does roll in college baseball, and those schools include LSU, Florida, Vanderbilt, South Carolina, and Kentucky. Well, they're not in the top 10, but Tennessee, and that's pretty much about it. I mean, Ole Miss was there last year, but they dropped out of the top 25. But but what do you so what do you think we should know about this for this rankings in college baseball? If we should know anything about these players, or maybe they'll play in the minors in the future, but those teams in the AP top 10 in college baseball, what do you guys think of where the season is holding up with right now?
Well, it's a good question. Haven't followed college baseball too much, but the usual teams, SEC, ACC teams, couple of random ones here and there. So it's a long season though. Season just kind of started, or I guess they've been going for a couple weeks now. But who do you like so far, Jack? You got any favorites or?
I think I like LSU. Maybe I don't know. Maybe Vanderbilt or South Carolina or possibly Florida as my as my like my sneak my sneaker my my as my wild card sneaker team. I think so. It's gonna be like a kind of a top 4 and top 5 like teams that I mean, if you really think about this, going to be like going to be this kind of like up and down kind of season for them and how things like turn out for them. But for me, I'm going to stick with LSU as my top pick as of right now, just until the College World Series, which happens until like mid late June. So we got time, but I think they'll
Well, you know, Vanderbilt's
I think they'll figure out
always
some
around there, isn't there? Aren't
yeah,
they?
yeah, they do. They do. Ton of like a ton of time to think about between now and then for who's going to really win it all. But yeah,
So
kind of early.
there's no teams from the north.
I don't think
Uh,
college
See,
baseball does not exist in the North, unfortunately.
yeah, I was surprised to
although,
see East Carolina, Uncle Rob's school in the top 10.
The
yeah,
Pirates,
The
yeah,
Pirates.
his school is having a pretty good season.
not the Pittsburgh Pirates.
No, the East
No,
Carolina.
I think those
The
are better than
ECU
the Pittsburgh
Pirates are having
Pirates
a great
probably this
year,
year.
and I'm sure his team should be very proud, and that his team is having a great season so far, despite that they're in the 10th ranking, not number one, but I say they're having a pretty good, decent season so far.
Yeah. Well, I'll have to go with Virginia.
Yeah, yeah. They won a title before back in 2015, so
Yeah.
they've done it before, and I think those Cavaliers just are there for a reason, and yes, they have
Yeah.
won their first title in NCAA history back that year. So yeah, the Cavaliers are a good team. I wouldn't I'll say watch out. They're a pretty good team, and yeah, the Cavaliers are that good for a reason, and yeah,
That's
they have a great team, and yeah,
that's where
it's
Ryan Zimmerman went to school.
I know, I know, that's right, and yeah, and he had a great collegiate career there, and yeah, those Cavaliers are just pretty good, I have to say, and yeah, they're pretty dominant.
Yeah.
The last time I heard about them.
So Jack, did you see the South Carolina women's center was the #1 overall pick in the WNBA draft?
I'm sure I've heard about it, but I didn't catch any of it. But
And
yeah,
the
I'm pretty sure they had a
number 2 pick was I think her name was Diamond Miller, a guard out of Maryland.
yeah, right, right. Yeah, I've heard much about it, and she should have a pretty good game, and should be dominant on both floors. And I think that she really yeah, I think she would really really have a I think she would have a pretty good season from what she for her professional career. I wish her the best, and hopefully she'll have a great professional career wherever she goes. And I mean, but she had a great career and for Maryland and South Carolina, and yeah, I give her all the best, and I think she'll have a great career in the future, without a doubt.
Maybe that's what Raleigh should get as a WNBA franchise.
I agree. I
Um,
think that would do well here.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, I mean they've got the franchises in the big cities where the NBA teams are, but maybe they need
Does
to
Charlotte have one? I don't think Charlotte has one, do they?
um
I
they,
don't
they
think
I
so.
maybe they
mean
don't.
they have a minor league team, but there is no major league team yet. That reminds me. I mean, teams like I mean, I'm glad you guys brought that up. I mean,
Yeah, I was talking about basketball. I was talking
oh
about baseball.
Yeah.
right, but yeah,
I
yeah,
think
never mind.
baseball.
Raise a move.
They talked about the Charlotte thing, but I think they have the minor league team there, and it does
Yeah.
pretty well. And they don't really seem like they want a pro team.
Well,
so.
you're in Braves country.
It's true. It's true. I think people here are kind of already disposed to like
Yeah.
the Braves. So apparently, there's been a lot of, not to switch topics, but there has been a lot of speculation about the Oakland situation at MLB because of their attendance has been getting worse and worse to the point
Yeah.
where basically it's hard to find somebody in the crowd if you look at an A's game right now. So that's speculation about them moving to I guess,
Vegas.
Vegas, yeah. It seems more and more likely if
Oakland East.
the the Vegas Athletics
Yeah.
could be coming to your screen soon.
Yeah, I heard a chatter from my dad saying Salt Lake City,
Yeah.
Nashville, are
Salt Lake
single
City might be
possibilities
good.
for an MLB team. That's what
Yeah,
keep hearing rumors
I
about.
read this article about this. These Salt Lake people were trying to push. They're talking about like how Salt Lake has some like great baseball history. Apparently, I've been living under a rock. I never heard anything Utah related that's baseball, but I guess
They have a AAA team, the Hives,
well, yeah, a lot of cities have a AAA
but
team.
yeah,
I think Vegas makes more sense than Salt
yeah,
Lake, but I guess they already have, like they have the Jazz and stuff there too. So
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
Nashville would be cool.
Nashville, or Buffalo.
Ooh, I don't know about that.
Ooh.
It'd be cold, but let's play in the summer.
Toronto's basically in Buffalo.
Yeah,
I think they played in Buffalo when they couldn't go to Canada because of COVID restrictions. And
yeah,
their little minor league stadium. That was pretty fun.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Not sure that was a great sell for the MLB to put a team there though.
Not sure if I even believe that
Yeah, I
either.
think the NBA could also expand as well because they only have 30 teams, so they could put a team in like Vegas or something, Vegas or Seattle or something too. So
Well, they had a team in Seattle at one time.
yeah, I think they're trying to put one back there and
One that
Vegas
actually is
maybe.
going to work.
They
Yeah.
have the
Seattle Supersonics.
yeah. They got
Oh
the
yeah, I remember that. I remember that well when they
bring them back, Jack.
I remember just bringing back memories of your
Yeah.
back in your day when they played your Wizards back in the day.
Yeah.
Known as the Bullets, and yeah, the Supersonics just won it from you guys, and then the Bullets beat the Sonics the previous year. That I remember it very well, especially in especially during Uncle Mike's time back in the day, and I'm sure you remember it well, and I've looked up history on it, but yeah, the Supersonics, um, uh, as a team, now they're now known as the Oklahoma City Thunder. Yeah, they should really go back.
Yeah.
I mean, they should really bring back the Supersonics. It will be just it'll be great for the city, and they have the WNBA there, but the Supersonics, they really need to come back, and they just need to
It's just fun to say.
somehow
Supersonics.
make it happen.
Yeah.
I agree.
You probably don't remember the old Seattle Pilots.
Who?
The Seattle Pilots, they were a baseball team for
Before the Mariners?
for one season. Yeah, long before the Mariners. They're actually still in the Major League Baseball.
Oh, because they
Do
you know what
relocated.
city? You know what city they relocated in?
Well, nobody's still called the Pilots.
No.
We know that. I think I remember reading this somewhere. Is it a West Coast team?
Nope.
Ooh, East Coast or Midwest?
Midwest.
Midwest.
Hmm.
So probably isn't a team that's been around for a while because they would have already been there.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa, I know.
Okay.
Jack, do you know?
Hmm.
I remember it now. I remember because the colors now.
They switched leagues at one time.
They moved
They moved from the American League to now the National League.
I think I know who it is, Jack. I think it's
You do?
your Milwaukee Brewers.
Milwaukee Brewers, exactly.
Is that why they're like because they were like blue and yellow, right? Maybe the colors had nothing to do with it, but
yeah, they didn't have anything. They had some old Cub Scout uniforms, and that's what they used.
yeah, I remember because didn't the like the Mariners like old throwbacks were like the Milwaukee current color scheme where it's like blue and yellow sort of thing.
Yeah.
That's a good piece of trivia there.
Yeah. They were an expansion team in 1969.
1969, big year for sports.
Big year.
Wow.
Big year for sports.
It's a great year overall, all with the Neil Armstrong moon landing too. So that's a great era and generation in history to look back on.
And it was the 100th anniversary of Major League Professional Baseball.
Wow.
Was in 1969.
That's why they call it America's pastime, huh?
America's pastime. That's why they used to always let Cincinnati have the first game, because they're the oldest major league team still in existence.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm. The Red Legs.
That didn't help them much last night against the Braves.
No, no. Well, the Braves just, oh my goodness.
These aren't exactly not exactly your Pete Rose led Reds anymore, are they?
No, no, no Johnny Bench. No Big Red Machine.
Nope.
That would have been
Alright.
a great success for that franchise, but
Anything else you want to
ever
cover
since
before you wrap
then,
up, Jack?
it's just become downhill for this franchise, and with
Probably
people
enough Reds
studying
talk for one
baseball, yeah,
podcast, huh?
it's just been a long road ahead for them. That's all I can say. But anyway, let's wrap up and real quick before we get ourselves out here with a prediction of the U.S. versus Mexico tonight in soccer. I'll ask Blake about it. What do you think? What do you think? What do you got for your prediction?
This is men's or women's?
Men's.
I gotta be honest, I was not aware of a US-Mexico game going on. You sure your stat guy knows what he's talking about back there?
Well, he has no idea, but
What's the competition? Is it
he
a friendly or
It's a friendly.
it's a friendly?
Yeah.
And this
yeah,
is
it's
this is
international friendly.
and this is a full international US. Okay. Well, I don't think any of the players in Europe are playing. To be honest, Jackson, I didn't know this game was happening until you just told me. But I'm always going to pick the US
Yeah.
against Mexico. So 2-0, 2-0, USA.
Yeah, I want to make my prediction 1-0 US. Even though my dad just handed it out to me, but yeah, that's who I've got in my prediction, and yeah, I agree with you. The U.S. will definitely be winning in a 1-0 game. They certainly got their hands on it, and I agree. U.S. would be yeah, I've got U.S. On top 1-0 for my prediction for my score prediction.
3-2 USA.
Ooh, lots of goals. I like it.
I like it. I like where you're going with your competitiveness between Mexico and the U.S. Compared to where I'm going, from where you're leaning toward and where Blake's leaning toward, we've got a 1-0 and you got a 2-1 and you got a 3-2 score. Wow, man, we're gonna have
I have this game happening on April 19th.
what?
Yeah, that's what I saw as well.
So I guess we're making
I just looked at
we're making an early pick.
Make
I
it
think you
early.
need to, by the way, I think you need to fire your researcher that works behind you, Jack.
I don't know. I mean, he has no idea what he's talking about. So I don't know what.
But
he's
he's
six
but
days
he
away.
tries. But he
6
tries.
days away. 6 days away. So
Yeah.
our
Just be-
predictions are still valid.
Yeah,
Yeah,
be
they're close
gentle.
enough.
He
All
tries.
right, guys, let's
All
wrap
right.
it up. Great show today, but for audience for listening, great to have you on Good Guy Sports. We'll talk to you. We'll talk to you later. See you next week, and have a great rest of your day and weekend, and we will talk to you guys soon. Bye now.
Thanks,
Bye,
fellas.
Jack.
Bye,
Bye,
Mike.
Blake.
Bye, Blake. See ya.
See you.
Have a good one. Bye bye.
Bye.